Hi, I'm Asierto, and today I am going to explain how miscommunication happens. So, the sender and receiver stated and implicit meanings are frequently misaligned, resulting in miscommunication. Some people want you to read between the lines, while others expect you to be direct. So, miscommunication is avoided by explicitly praising your messages. Miscommunication between parties is the root of all disputes. It occurs when there is insufficient information or misinterpretation of the words intended but with a different meaning, resulting in miscommunication. So, second, I am going to give the 4 practices that help daily interaction gain better communication. Mm, Number 1 is establish and maintain eye contact. So, the importance of eye contact in communicating cannot be overstated. Looking at another person is a good approach to gain input on certain topics. Brain training aids communication and serves as a synchronization signal. So people frequently glance up at the communication. Uh, People frequently glance up at the conclusion of their sentences, expecting response and allowing their partner to take over the discussion. So during attempted interruptions, laughter, and responding brief questions, there is a lot of eye contact. So at the conclusion of grammatical breaks, we also gaze up. Hitchhikers, um, marketers, charity tin shakers, and other make the most of eye contact to draw attention to them. Number 2 is try to send a clear message. So there's a big difference between saying something casually and stating something deliberately. So use phrases that are significant and will help you get your argument across. Whether you're at a job interview, a business meeting, or a talk with your spouse, keep the aim in mind. So it is lot of more probable that your message will come through crystal clear if you know where you're headed with your words. Okay, so number 3 is be receptive to what others say. So many of us enter a conversation with a specific objective in mind. While it's important to begin speaking and listening with a certain aim in mind, it's also important to remember to be flexible. So, adapt if they don't say precisely what you want to hear. Nod, grind, or green, or make affirmative vocal sounds while they're speaking, like yes, or I agree. So, being an active listener and refuse to check out when the talk isn't going your way might assist. So, partner happiness may be increased simply by attempting to comprehend what the other is trying to say or feel, regardless of whether your interpretation is true. So, number 4 is wait for the other person to finish. So, we all know someone who enjoys talking without listening, who believes that what they have to say is equally exciting to everyone else, and who doesn't seem to realize that listening is a crucial element of communicating and connecting with others. So, the finest communicators understand that there is a trade-off between talking and listening. A sharing of who is the speaker and who is the listener based on mutual respect and concern for one another's feelings. So some people brag about themselves because they believe they are more fascinating than anybody else they know. Many others, on the other hand, are overwhelmed by their own emotions and push them away. Monologues give the wrong message to your audience either case, but the two-way dialogue pulls people closer together. So, never undervalue the importance of effective communication. People in positions of authority, such as a politician, a doctor, or a single mother, are often effective communicators. So listen to your speaking partner, show that you're interested in what they are saying, and provide a clear message. You'll notice a change. Okay, so next that I'm going to explain is I am explain, not just explain, I will also enumerate the 10 common barriers to effective communication. So first is the physical and psychological barriers. So these include distance, background noise, poor or malfunctioning equipment, bad hearing, oh sorry for that, poor eyesight, speech impediments. So number 2 is the emotional and cultural noise. So emotions like anger, fear, sadness, and attitudes. Having to be right all the time, believing oneself to be superior or inferior to others. So it affects objectively as to do stereotypical assumptions that people make people make about each other based on cultural background. So number 3 is language. So speaking different languages, having strong accents, using slang or jargon can frustrate communication and negotiation efforts. Number 4 is nothing or little in common. Example, stories and anecdotes can help get a point across, except when the audience cannot relate to any of this because they don't share a common experience with the speaker. Number 5 is lack of eye contact. So, not making eye contact is a sure way of raising doubt in listeners and losing their attention and making them feel suspicious of you, not to mention invisible. Number 6 is information overload and lack of focus. So, too much information can confuse your audience and even make them wonder if you are overwhelming them with details to avoid telling them something else they would rather know. Number 7 is not being prepared, lack of credibility. If you're not prepared, if you lack the facts, if you rely on your PowerPoint presentation too much, your listeners will notice and feel let down. So even disrespected and they won't believe you. Number 8 is talking too much. So when you talk, you're not listening. And you need to listen to the people you're attempting to persuade. Okay, number 9 is trying too hard, seeming desperate. So when you try too hard to persuade someone, you may seem desperate, and desperation smells like manipulation and turns people off before you can utter your next desperate word. Okay, lastly, number 10 is lack of enthusiasm. If you don't believe in your position, product, service, or whatever you're trying to sell, they won't believe in it either. Okay, so the last topic that I am going to explain is the 4 types of noise in communication. So first is the noise in communication. A broad definition of noise in communication is something that keeps a receiver from completely comprehending a message. Noise comes in many forms. So distractions can inhibit a person from offering his undivided attention and may keep him from fully grasping what you are trying to say. This disturbance is guaranteed that the receiver will either misinterpret your information or not understand it at all. So physical noise is sometimes the biggest impediment to clear communications is everyday environmental noise. This can include loud passers-by, music, think talking over a band at a concert, traffic or children playing. Even a simple phone ring can distract a listener so that she cannot fully focus on a conversation. So, annoying whispering and classroom sidebar conversations can interfere with the ability of the instructor and other students to focus on the material during a lecture. Other physical conditions that can hinder communication are physical illness, hearing impairments, being under the influence of drugs or alcohol, or being tired. So, number three is the semantic noise. So, semantic noise affects communication when people communicate from different playing fields. For example, a patient without knowledge of medical terminology may have no idea that the doctor is saying. In other words, they are working from different understandings, such as different vocabularies, primary languages, or dialects. So, noise can also occur when pedantic vocabulary or regional colloquialisms break down communication. So, cross-cultural communication noise can include mistaken interpretations of voice tone, eye contact, and body language. So, illegible handwriting and using slang can also be semantic noises that complicate effective communication. So lastly, number four is the psychological noise. So psychological noise can be more difficult to define in a particular situation, as the mental makeup of every person is different. So this type of noise includes concepts like prejudices, narrow-mindedness, and personal bias. Communication can also be difficult if a person is feeling very emotional. Anger, sadness, and even joy can affect how much someone can pay attention during conversation. So, individuals with psychological problems, such as severe mental illness, may have trouble understanding others or communicating their own thoughts. So, that's all. Thank you.